PhD project is related to or is investigating the design process. In particular, investigating the design process of interactive media for public spaces, with a focus on grassroots organizations based in Bogota, Colombia. How did I end up in this space? It's a hybrid space between interaction design, human-computer interaction, and it's mixing the design discipline with information technologies. I started with an interest in understanding how technology could be connected with sound. That was my initial work years ago. And that's how I entered the master's degree. And I started developing and designing interactive interfaces, trying to connect that with contemporary dancers. And on the other hand, I got really interested in public space interventions, specifically graffiti and street art. And once I went back to Colombia, I engaged the activity. I met a number of people down there, and I started working in this sort of street space as well. I thought the PhD was the perfect opportunity to merge all these apparently disconnected worlds and just bring them into one space and make a contribution. So that's exactly what brought me to QUT, to Australia, and to the Urban Informatics Research Lab. So far, the project has explored different options in Brisbane, and I will be collecting the big chunk of data in Colombia soon. I'm also part of QUT as a tutor, and I've been teaching interactive design for industrial design students. I've been teaching issues in digital media and a couple of units related to design thinking or thinking with design and interaction design. As part of QT, I've participated in research projects as research assistant as well, a couple of times. And I am also part of a group of people from either South America or with roots in South America called Diseño, which is design in Spanish. And the idea with this group is to bring some of our research strengths to South America, to do research with South America, as in with researchers from South America, but also do research about South America and see how that could contribute to design as a discipline in the Australian context, but of course, design as a discipline in the Latin American context. So I started looking at how to combine. This is the big chunk or the most important part of my work. How to combine movement or human movement, sound, and interactive technologies. And that's how I started looking at how to design interfaces for contemporary dancers. And after going back to Colombia, I met this fantastic designer, Catalina Quijano, and we shared an office. And within 2 weeks, we had another interface design ready to go. And we were invited to a number of festivals in Colombia to present it. And it was really interesting at the time because the digital was sort of picking up. The digital, as in everything digital, music, interaction, etc. was picking up in the country. It was getting bigger and bigger, and we sort of had the opportunity to contribute with bits to that scene and to, I wouldn't say build it, but I'm happy we were part of it. And the other side of my project is connected to street life. So that's why I was doing a lot of graffiti, and well, I wish I've done more. But I was involved with a really interesting crew with very interesting members that had really interesting approaches to life and to making interventions in the city. And they gave me a very, from my point of view, important understanding of how the city operates at street level. City as in Bogota, the capital of Colombia, which was the city I was based in at the time. So with the sound projects, I managed to convince a lot of people that I was doing interesting things. So I was invited by an energy drink to participate in one of the workshops that they do every year, in which they bring an amazing array of musicians, producers, and people involved with the music world. And I was exposed to an amazing group of heads that knew everything about music. And it was a very interesting way of approaching sound, because I don't have a musical training, so it's all empirical. And so during that event, I had the chance to spend 2 weeks and learn a lot of things. And from that, a lot of other things happened. So the next year, that was 2009, I got invited to one of the most important electronic music festivals in the world called Sonar in Barcelona. And I presented my individual sound project, which at the time was only about noise and making noise music. And the genre was sound terrorism, basically, right? So it was very raw, very, very crude and nasty to hear, but it was a good outlet. And that allowed me to understand a number of things in terms of what I wanted to make with digital interfaces for contemporary dances. And I have managed to slowly penetrate the Brisbane scene with a new sonic project that I have, and I've been DJing electropical music, which is a genre that comes from the South American underground that's mixing electronic beats with South American music. Of course, this is a genre that's been explored for a while, but nowadays there's a huge community producing really interesting things. So I'm also happy to present, and by doing a PhD, I still have that approach to the streets and looking at issues of voice. So you can see everything is sort of connected, right? Because it's music talking about South America and the underground. And the PhD project is looking at how to design things with people that might not have a voice, or that might be concerned with particular things that the rest of the community is not aware of. So it's all connected, and I guess it's working pretty well. And I will be running a couple of workshops at 2 technology-driven conferences in South America this year. I think that's pretty exciting as well, because it's the first time I'm bringing what I've been doing to South American soil. So I think that's also pretty exciting in terms of presenting my work. And we'll see what happens next.